Today, we're exploring the key ideas from Mindset by Carol Dweck. This is an independent educational overview enriched with our own integrative analysis and actionable exercises. Think of it as a guided reflection to spark your own insights, not a replacement for reading the book itself. At the heart of human endeavor and personal evolution lies a fundamental divergence in how individuals perceive their core capabilities. Are qualities like intelligence, talent, and personality immutable traits carved in stone from birth, or are they dynamic attributes capable of profound cultivation through effort and experience? This seemingly simple distinction, often operating beneath conscious awareness, forms the bedrock of what can be termed the fixed mindset and the growth mindset, respectively. The perspective one adopts acts as an invisible architect, shaping not only one's psychological landscape, but also the entire trajectory of their life, influencing everything from academic performance and athletic prowess to professional success and the quality of personal relationships. Imagine a young student grappling with a challenging new algebra problem. One might see this struggle as a definitive test of their innate mathematical smartness, a fixed quantity either present or absent. A misstep, in this view, signals inherent inadequacy. Another student, however, might perceive the same difficulty as an invigorating opportunity to expand their understanding, believing that their mathematical comprehension, regardless of its current state, can be deepened through persistent engagement. For them, errors are not indictments, but valuable data points, guiding the path to mastery. This crucial difference in outlook dictates how setbacks are interpreted, how effort is valued, and, ultimately, whether an individual will shy away from complexity or embrace it as a catalyst for genuine growth. The implications of these two mindsets ripple through every facet of existence, profoundly altering how individuals approach challenges, interact with others, and unlock their inherent potential. The unseen architecture of belief, fixed versus growth. Humanity has long grappled with the origins of individual differences, pondering whether intellect and character are predetermined or malleable. Early theories sometimes posited rigid, unchangeable foundations, but figures like Alfred Binet, the architect of the IQ test, vehemently argued against such brutal pessimism. Binet saw his test not as a label of fixed intelligence, but as a tool to identify areas for improvement, believing that focused training could significantly enhance cognitive abilities. Modern understanding largely affirms this malleability, recognizing that personal effort, experience, and training play a far greater role in sculpting expertise than any initial aptitude. Our profound capacity for lifelong learning means that fundamental attributes are not set in stone, but are continually shaped by how we engage with the world. This engagement is profoundly influenced by one of two core perspectives. The first, the fixed mindset, posits that inherent qualities like intelligence, character, or athletic talent are static and finite. From this viewpoint, life becomes an endless series of evaluations where one must constantly validate these fixed traits. Every situation transforms into a crucible. Will I succeed or fail? Will I appear competent or foolish? Will I be accepted or dismissed? The overriding objective is to consistently demonstrate one's abundance of these qualities, avoiding any hint of deficiency. Consequently, individuals operating from a fixed mindset often recoil from challenges, fearing that a misstep could expose their perceived limitations. They may see criticism as a personal attack on their immutable self, and effort itself can be viewed as a signal of a lack of natural brilliance. For them, the common adage, "nothing ventured, nothing gained," might invert into "venturing nothing means losing nothing," as risk becomes a menacing pathway to expose fundamental inadequacies. In stark contrast, the growth mindset regards these fundamental traits as mere starting points, capable of being cultivated and expanded through dedicated application. While acknowledging diverse initial talents, the conviction here is that persistent effort and deliberate practice can foster profound change and development. The true potential of an individual is seen as largely unwritten, an unknowable sum of passion, relentless learning, and sustained hard work. This perspective naturally sparks an ardent desire for growth. Why spend energy repeatedly proving existing competence when one could be actively enhancing it? Why conceal weaknesses instead of diligently striving to overcome them? The hallmark of the growth mindset is an insatiable zeal for stretching oneself and persevering, particularly when confronted with adversity. Success is not about proving one's inherent superiority, but about the satisfaction of pushing beyond current limits. Failure ceases to be an unalterable verdict on worth. Instead, it becomes a crucial signal, an invitation to grow. And effort, far from being an indicator of insufficiency, transforms into the very engine that builds intelligence and talent. Consider an everyday scenario, a frustrating day where a critical work report receives lukewarm feedback, a traffic ticket appears on the windshield, and a close friend seems unusually distant. For someone with a fixed mindset, the critical feedback might morph into a devastating indictment of their professional intelligence, sparking internal declarations like, "I'm simply not cut out for this." The ticket might feel like a personal affront from a hostile world, and the friend's distance a sign of personal rejection. Their default response might be inaction or self-pity. Yet, an individual with a growth mindset would interpret the same events through a different lens. The lukewarm feedback isn't a verdict on their intellect, but a signal to refine their approach or seek new skills. The ticket is a logistical issue to resolve and a reminder to be more vigilant. Their friend's distance might spark curiosity about what they are experiencing, rather than being internalized as a personal slight. This mindset propels them toward constructive action, revising strategies, settling the fine, and initiating open communication with their friend. This fundamental difference also shapes self-perception. Research indicates that while humans generally tend to misjudge their own abilities, individuals operating from a fixed mindset are overwhelmingly responsible for distorted self-assessments. To protect an image of inherent competence, they may magnify successes and rationalize away shortcomings, ultimately obscuring true self-knowledge. Conversely, those with a growth mindset demonstrate remarkable accuracy in evaluating their strengths and limitations, understanding that effective learning requires an honest baseline of current abilities. Ultimately, this foundational belief system, whether one's core attributes are fixed or cultivable, is not a trivial preference. It's a profound internal framework that determines one's entire relationship with challenge, effort, failure, and the pursuit of human potential. The impact of excellence. Mindsets in achievement, leadership, and learning. The impact of mindsets is strikingly evident across all domains of accomplishment, from academic pursuits to the highest echelons of corporate leadership and athletic performance. In schools, for instance, the transition to junior high, with its stiffer curriculum and heightened social pressures, often marks a divergence. Students who believe their intelligence is a fixed quantity frequently see their grades decline, attributing setbacks to an inherent lack of ability or external factors. They may develop a low-effort syndrome, disengaging from challenging tasks to avoid exposing perceived deficiencies. In contrast, those who embrace a growth mindset, understanding that intelligence can be cultivated through effort, often maintain or even improve their academic standing, mobilizing their resources when faced with difficulty. They approach higher education with proactive engagement, seeking underlying principles and meticulously reviewing mistakes, rather than resorting to rote memorization. This is not about superior innate ability, but about mastering the process of learning itself. Similarly, the pervasive belief that artistic ability is a gift rather than a developed skill often leaves many feeling inadequate. However, work by educators demonstrates that drawing, for example, is not a mystical talent, but a combination of learnable, seeing skills that can be profoundly improved in a matter of days. Jackson Pollock, initially lacking what was deemed native talent, transformed into a revolutionary artist through relentless commitment. This underscores a vital principle. Early performance does not dictate ultimate potential. Given the right training and mindset, most people are capable of far more than typically assumed, a truth powerfully demonstrated by educators who transformed unteachable students into scholars. In sports, the myth of the natural persists, leading coaches to seek out individuals seemingly born with boundless athletic prowess. Yet this belief can paradoxically become a burden. A gifted athlete like Billy Beane, hailed as a prodigy, faltered under pressure due to a fixed mindset, unable to comprehend failure or seek help. In contrast, a less naturally talented teammate, Lenny Dykstra, thrived on resilience and an unwavering commitment to improvement, demonstrating that mindset rather than raw talent was the true determinant of success. Greatness, whether in Muhammad Ali's strategic mind games or Michael Jordan's relentless work ethic after being cut from his high school team, rarely springs fully formed. It is forged through meticulous study, obsessive training, and a profound understanding that effort constantly upgrades genius. Character, in this context, is not an inherent trait, but a learned disposition. The ability to find strength in dire circumstances and elevate performance when everything conspires against you. This champion's mentality stems from the belief that effort always leads to improvement, and success is cultivated through consistent learning and practice. The corporate world, too, has experienced the profound influence of these mindsets. The downfall of Enron, for instance, was deeply rooted in a pervasive talent mindset. By placing absolute faith in innate brilliance, the company cultivated a culture that worshipped talent, compelling employees to constantly project an image of extraordinary capability. This fixed mindset discouraged the acknowledgement of shortcomings, leading to resistance to corrective actions and ultimately systemic deception. Companies that achieve sustained greatness, in contrast, are often led by self-effacing individuals who prioritize improvement, honestly assess weaknesses, and build capable teams. Leaders with a growth mindset embrace feedback, foster development, and view challenges as opportunities to learn and adapt. Training initiatives in organizations often falter because many managers harbor a fundamental disbelief in personal change. These fixed mindset managers judge employees as either competent or not from the outset, offering minimal developmental coaching and remaining less inclined to seek feedback themselves. Conversely, growth mindset managers see talent as a starting point, dedicating themselves to fostering employee development, observing improvements, and actively welcoming critiques. Such a mindset can be cultivated through targeted workshops that illuminate the brain's capacity for growth, transforming managers into effective coaches who view all skills as learnable and the organization as a place of continuous development. Ultimately, whether in academics, athletics, or leadership, the growth mindset champions effort as the pathway to mastery, redefines failure as a learning opportunity, and recognizes that true potential is a dynamic capacity to develop skills through sustained commitment. The relational landscape: mindsets in connection, conflict, and change. Beyond individual achievement, mindsets profoundly shape the intricate landscape of our relationships, influencing how we connect, navigate conflict, and experience personal transformation. In the realm of love, for instance, a fixed mindset extends to three crucial elements: one's own qualities, a partner's qualities, and the very nature of the relationship itself. All are deemed either inherently good or irrevocably flawed, predestined or fundamentally incompatible. This leads to an idealized vision of happily ever after, where an immediate, flawless harmony is expected. The significant pitfalls arise from the belief that if any effort is required, the relationship was never meant to be, or that problems are irrefutable evidence of character flaws, rendering them unsolvable. Unarticulated assumptions about compatibility often lead to feelings of betrayal rather than active problem-solving. Conversely, the growth mindset asserts that all these facets, you, your partner, and the relationship, are dynamic entities capable of profound development and enduring transformation. It views setbacks not as terminal diagnoses of character, but as opportunities for growth, encouraging examination, understanding, and collaborative resolution. A truly great relationship isn't one free of problems, but one where challenges are faced with a willingness to communicate, understand, and collaboratively evolve. This perspective also impacts forgiveness. While a fixed mindset struggles with it, seeing it as an admission of personal fault, a growth mindset fosters comprehension and liberation from bitterness, allowing individuals to control their own half of the relationship and cultivate personal evolution. Competition within relationships can also arise from a fixed mindset, subtly transforming a partnership into an arena for validating one's own superiority. Individuals might unconsciously diminish their partner's successes or even actively compete in their chosen domains, inadvertently stripping them of their unique identity. In contrast, a growth mindset fosters mutual development, where partners are allied in helping each other fulfill their own potential, actively aiding aspirations rather than subtly undermining them. Friendships, too, can be corrupted by this constant need to prove oneself, leading some to subtly diminish others to elevate their own self-esteem. True companionship, however, means rejoicing in a friend's good fortune as much as supporting them in adversity. Even shyness, a pervasive concern about social judgment, is experienced differently. While fixed-minded individuals find shyness crippling, those with a growth mindset view social encounters as valuable challenges, actively embracing connection despite initial nervousness, ultimately becoming more adept and likable. The corrosive effects of judgment are also starkly evident in bullying. Bullies, operating from a fixed mindset, establish superiority by judging targets as lesser, boosting their own fragile self-esteem. Victims, too, can internalize this judgment, leading to self-deprecation and a fervent desire for retaliation, as seen in tragic events like the Columbine shooting. A growth mindset, however, encourages interpreting bullying as a symptom of the tormentor's own struggles, prompting constructive engagement over violent revenge, and focusing on the capacity for change in all individuals. Effective anti-bullying programs, for instance, focus on changing behavior without judging the person, promoting collaboration and empowering bystanders. The origins of these mindsets often lie in our formative experiences with parents, teachers, and coaches. Every interaction transmits a message: your abilities are fixed, and I am here to evaluate them. Or, you are a developing individual, and your journey of growth is what truly fascinates me. Praising a child's inherent intelligence, for example, paradoxically hinders long-term motivation and performance, creating a fear of failure. Instead, praising the process, their effort, strategies, and persistence cultivates a growth mindset. Similarly, great teachers don't lower standards. They maintain high expectations while providing the tools and trust for students to achieve them. Coaches like John Wooden, rather than demanding flawless victories, prioritized full preparation and complete effort, preparing athletes for life as much as for games. Their legacy is one of empowering others through genuine care and unwavering belief in growth, demonstrating that the profound trust placed in mentors is best fulfilled by fostering an environment centered on continuous development, not constant evaluation. Integrative Analysis and Implications: the enduring power of perspective. The profound distinction between a fixed and growth mindset offers a powerful lens through which to understand human behavior and potential. It reveals that our core beliefs about ability are not mere philosophical preferences, but deeply ingrained frameworks that shape our decisions, reactions, and ultimately our destinies. The fixed mindset, by positing that qualities are static, traps individuals in a relentless cycle of validation and self-protection. It leads to an aversion to challenge, a fear of effort, a tendency to blame others for setbacks, and a brittle sense of self-worth that collapses under criticism. This perspective can stifle innovation, erode resilience, and limit the very achievements it seeks to prove. It fosters groupthink in organizations, resistance to change in individuals, and a competitive, often unforgiving, stance in personal relationships. Conversely, the growth mindset liberates. By asserting that abilities can be cultivated, it encourages a love of learning, a robust embrace of challenges, and a view of setbacks as invaluable information for future progress. It cultivates true grit and perseverance, grounding confidence not in a preordained talent, but in the process of continuous improvement. Leaders with a growth mindset build resilient organizations, foster collaborative cultures, and empower others to reach their full potential. In relationships, it promotes understanding, empathy, and a shared commitment to growth, transforming conflict into opportunities for deeper connection. For individuals, it offers a path to genuine transformation, shifting from a paralyzing preoccupation with being judged to an open-hearted pursuit of self-actualization. The societal implications are vast. By fostering growth mindsets in homes, schools, and workplaces, we can cultivate environments where potential is maximized, resilience is nurtured, and innovation flourishes. It means shifting from praise that emphasizes innate talent to feedback that highlights effort, strategy, and progress. It means building systems that support learning and development rather than merely evaluating fixed abilities. The ultimate promise of the growth mindset is a life of greater vitality, courage, and fulfillment, where challenges are not roadblocks, but integral steps on an exciting, open-ended journey of becoming. It offers a powerful framework for navigating life's inevitable complexities, illuminating a path forward into an ever-evolving future. Actionable Exercises. 1. Mindset Mirror. Spot your inner voice. Your thoughts profoundly shape your reality. This exercise helps you become aware of the subtle messages your inner voice sends, revealing whether you're leaning into a fixed or growth mindset. Over the next few days, pay close attention to your internal reactions in 3 common scenarios. When you face a challenge, how do you feel? What do you say to yourself? E.g., "This is too hard," or "I wonder how I can figure this out." When you make a mistake, what's your immediate internal response? E.g., "I'm so stupid," or "What can I learn from this?" When you receive feedback, positive or negative, do you feel validated, threatened, or do you focus on the information for improvement? At the end of each day, take a few minutes to jot down these observations. Don't judge, just notice. Recognizing these patterns is the powerful first step to consciously choosing a growth-oriented perspective and actively reshaping your beliefs. 2. The learning lens. Transform setbacks into stepping stones. Life is full of disappointments, but your response to them defines your journey. This exercise helps you reframe a recent setback into a powerful learning opportunity rather than a personal indictment. Think of a recent experience that didn't go as planned, a project that failed, a missed opportunity, or a relationship struggle. Instead of dwelling on self-blame or external factors, put on your learning lens. Identify the specific outcome. What happened? Acknowledge your feelings. It's okay to feel disappointed, frustrated, or sad. Ask, what can I learn? What new information did this experience reveal about your approach, your assumptions, or the situation itself? What skills or knowledge could you develop? Plan a growth action. Based on your learning, what small, concrete step will you take to improve, adapt, or prepare differently next time? By actively extracting lessons from difficulties, you transform every challenge into a valuable growth experience, building resilience and moving forward with purpose. 3. Cultivating process power, your effort blueprint. True accomplishment comes not just from talent, but from dedicated effort and thoughtful strategy. This exercise helps you shift your focus from merely achieving outcomes to valuing and optimizing the process of growth itself. Choose one goal you're working on right now. It could be related to work, a hobby, or a personal habit. Instead of only tracking the final result, dedicate time to define your process. What specific efforts, strategies, and learning steps will you take? E.g., I will dedicate 30 minutes daily to focused practice, or I will seek feedback on my draft. Celebrate effort and strategy. Acknowledge when you stick to your plan, try a new approach, or persist through difficulty, regardless of the immediate outcome. Reflect on learning, not just winning. After a practice session or a task, ask yourself, what new insights did I gain? How did my strategy evolve? What did I do today that made my brain bigger? By intentionally appreciating and documenting your diligent process, you build a powerful foundation for sustained growth and deeper satisfaction. 4. Embrace the undeveloped. A skill cultivation plan. You have far more potential than you might realize, especially in areas you've previously dismissed as not for you. This exercise invites you to challenge that fixed belief and actively cultivate a new skill or strengthen a perceived weakness. Identify one area where you've always felt you lacked natural talent or simply said, I can't do that, e.g., public speaking, drawing, learning a new technology, organizing finances. Commit to a starting point. Recognize that your brain is like a muscle, capable of growing new connections. Choose a very small, manageable first step, e.g., I will watch one tutorial, or I will practice drawing a simple shape for 10 minutes. Seek learnable skills. Research how others learned this skill. Are there specific techniques, foundational elements, or structured training programs? Break it down into discrete, learnable components. Plan for deliberate practice. Schedule consistent, focused effort, understanding that mistakes are part of the learning curve. How will you intentionally stretch yourself slightly beyond your comfort zone each time? Track your small improvements. Keep a record of your progress, no matter how tiny it seems. Celebrate the fact that you are actively expanding your capabilities. 5. The Mindset Watchdog. Intercept and reframe. Your internal monologue can either limit or liberate you. This exercise helps you train an internal watchdog to catch fixed mindset thoughts in real time and consciously pivot to a growth-oriented perspective. For the next week, practice being vigilant for thoughts that sound like a fixed mindset, e.g., I'm just not good at this. This is too embarrassing. I should give up. They're just smarter. 1. Identify the thought. When you catch yourself thinking in a fixed way, clearly label it internally. That's a fixed mindset thought. 2. Challenge it. Ask yourself, is this truly a fixed trait, or can it be developed? What would someone with a growth mindset think here? 3. Reframe it. Consciously formulate a growth-oriented alternative. For example, I'm not good at this yet, but I can learn. Or, this is a challenge, and challenges help me grow. 4. Act on the reframe. If appropriate, take a small action consistent with your new growth-oriented thought. With consistent practice, your mindset watchdog will strengthen, and your internal narrative will naturally shift towards resilience, learning, and open-mindedness. That wraps up our exploration of today's book. If even one idea here gave you something to reflect on, give it a like so YouTube knows to share more with you. And if you'd like the next insight in your feed, hit subscribe. Remember, what you heard today is our independent interpretation, enriched with analysis and exercises. The full book has far more depth, so consider reading it to experience the author's work directly. Thanks for listening to DeftU Insights, where we turn great books into tools for growth.